Max comes in and sneezes or whatever it is, and then he flies up, or not flies up, but he
elevates.
up. But you can see him. For people who can't see me, he's like this. He's like, you can totally tell that he's strapped in and he's being, held up.
I know he didn't play off the harness at all. Like normally when we were in harnesses, like you would try to like counteract the fact that you were in harness and try to show it. He just like
but it rides up your ass. What are you going to do?
Does.
Oh my God, I've said ass so many times in this episode.
Is this the ass episode?
The ass episode. But so that hat, where did it come from? Was that props or was that wardrobe?
My guess is it was props. I can see
Yeah.
Jill, our prop master, coming in with that hat. But what the hell type of hat is that? Is it like a Renaissance thing?
I don't know.
Is it like a...
I think they were going for magic hat, which is also a little, this is like the magic hat, the sorting hat is very kind of Harry Potter kind of,
And we'll talk about that in later episodes once we get to like the WizTech episodes, because that's when we really started to lean into the Harry Potter puns. But I felt like this was the first time we really kind of poked fun at the fact that everybody felt like we were a Harry Potter knockoff.
Yeah.
I remember in the first season, we got a lot of shit for the fact that they're like, this is just Disney knocking off Harry Potter. Which later on, I think people realized that we were our own thing. But I think they just tried to find the most ridiculous looking hat on the planet.
Yeah.
Rather than finding like a witch's hat or something.
It's interesting what you're saying because we were in the dark, meaning we shot 22, 24 episodes in the first season before we went out. So this is the Peter Marietta and the writing team addressing the competition beforehand and knowing that the comparison would be there, especially when we go into WizTech and wear those fucking glasses. So something was interesting too to me, which is when Jake and the kids go into the substation and Jake doesn't want to wear the hat and it starts snowing.
Yeah.
And then Brad from outside
like,
sees the snow and then questions it and completely, when Max is like, oh, we have dandruff. It's like, no problem.
No, it reminds me of when you talked about like how you step 3 feet away and then whisper and the person can't hear you. It's the same shit. It's the same shit where they're just like, oh, it's dandruff? Got it.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a suspense of disbelief. We just have to go with it.
I know, but watching it back, it is just like, really? That's it?
Now, nothing against the actor who played Brad.
Yeah.
But Selena is supposed to be pining for him.
Yes.
I didn't see a lot of pining.
There was
I just
not
saw
a lot
like
of chemistry.
It's scripted that I have to go after him kind of thing.
Yeah.
And with that said, I think one of the funniest things that I've seen Selena do thus far in the show is her I'm hair flip, like so she flips her hair back and forth and then somehow gets it caught in her mouth and which I thought was really funny. It was a great gag.
The reason I loved that gag is because it was so Alex in the sense that she didn't even really try at that either. Like she just was like, yeah. Like she just kind of like half-assed flirting as well, which I thought was so Alex as well. So to me, that was what made me laugh. Like watching it back, I laughed my ass off on that gag as well. Just because, like I said, she just half-assed flirting and it still worked, which was so funny to me. Well, I guess it kind of sort of worked. Like Brad was really focused on
Do you think that Selena's character was doing it half-assed or she wasn't really a flirter?
That's a good question.
Was Alex a flirter or not?
I think more than anything, Alex liked things that came easy to her. You know what I mean? Like, I think Alex, if it was that much effort, it wasn't worth it anyway.
Yeah, she didn't want to do a fucking thing.
She liked things, maybe she was one of those people that if it didn't come easy, it wasn't meant to be.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Because I've heard you say this before, like have your nice day for you, like sit on the couch and relax and take care of yourself. Well, that was fucking Alex Russo
Alex's
101.
life. Yeah. Alex's life was just don't, if it takes effort, don't do it.
So Bill Cott comes in this episode. Is there a little synopsis of that?
Okay, so because Mr. Larry Tate's the one who's deciding who goes to the UN event,
right,
to the summit,
who his character is always saying cowboy references, like that's his
literally
thing.
His whole thing is cowboy puns.
Yeah, and Larry Tate was named for the character from, is it Bewitched?
I think Bewitched. Yeah.
Because there's a character on Bewitched, which was a magic show back in the day.
Where you, I can't do it, but
she did her nose,
and then like magic would happen.
And they switched Darrens, and they were both named Dick. It's true. Dick Sargent and Dick York, I think.
Okay, so they have like a whole thing outside the sub shop where Justin thinks that Mr. Larry Tate's going to be better than bribing and like trying to impress, and Brad thinks that he isn't. But eventually Justin realizes that Mr. Larry Tate does care more about flattery than what he originally thought. And then Alex tells him that, hey, if she succeeds with her plan of wooing Brad, that he'll drop out of the race to go date her, and Justin will be selected for the World Summit.
And then something goes wrong. Something goes amiss
so
with magic.
That never happens on Waverly Place. And then, of course, Justin and Alex are on the same side, which is surprising. That never happens. And then that's where Alex reveals that she's going to do a love potion.
Right.
So, and then they have that weird like thing where that whole thing where like comedy in threes, right? Where she has the first guy who's choking, where she tries to give it to Brad in the sub shop.
Right.
And then she's like, no, here's a root beer or whatever. And then she has the like, do you remember who like Andy Milonakis? Do you remember who that was? He was like MTV era. He would do like pranks and stuff. I'm sorry, that extra reminded me, for anyone who knows who Andy Milonakis is.
He reminded you of...
That extra reminded me of Andy Milonakis.
The heavier set guy who was choking.
The little kid.
Oh, the little
kid reminded me of him.
Oh, okay.
So then after that one, then she goes and drinks both of them. And then that's when we start with the whole head growing and shrinking gag.
Right. Which got me because she's there and she's doing whatever. And then when she drinks it and then she realizes, I was like, oh no, she's had the potion twice. It got me.
Can you just show me again when you got really into the episode?
I was like, oh my God, she drank the potion twice. What's going to happen? Oh my goodness.
No.
Oh my goodness.
Like you weren't, is that the German, oh my goodness?
So the effect of her head getting big, and I just want to cut to, in any science fiction show or magic show, we have a problem. What are we going to do? I don't know. We can't solve it. It's just, and then you go, oh, I just let the steam out of her ear. Like that solves the problem. Like just to get out of it, which is so silly, right?
The steam thing drove the whole gag bugged me for some reason, but the steam thing was ridiculous.
But because it was just solved, like that. It just is silly. Like I always go, oh. Yeah, just do this, and then that solves the problem.
Why didn't you think of that earlier? I feel that way with so many episodes of why is Jerry he freaks out because also too you guys go into because we have this whole aside thing where Max can't control his powers, and so then he thinks he wants Chinese food. So all of a sudden you guys open.
Oh my God! Right,
that whole blue green screen effect,
it was a little silly.
It was a little.
We go to China,
and then you're in Hawaii.
Yeah, and all I could think of in my mind was because we enter back into the loft in China. Did you see the door? Did you see
wide
the
open?
Loft? Yeah, I mean,
wide open.
There was just a portal there.
Yeah, it's just another dandruff moment where they're like, no, whatever.
Yeah,
well, and that was the whole reason Mr. Larry Tate gave it to Justin was that he was like, oh, you're so cultured. You're bringing me this Chinese food and this,
And then we go to Hawaii.
And then,
And when I say blend in and I start hula dancing, I thought it was very funny.
No, it was very funny. But why was David Henry skip hula dancing?
I don't know.
Do you remember that? Because he kind of was like...
I think David liked to add a lot of stuff, and I like.
But sometimes it was too much.
Yeah, sometimes
it seemed like he was adding.
Right, and it takes away sometimes, and sometimes it adds. Hey, thank you so much for watching this clip of Wizards of Waverly Pod, and for the full episode, go to the Wizards Pod YouTube channel. The link is in the description.
And for exclusive weekly bonus content, join our Patreon now. There's a link in the description for that too. Thanks for watching.
Bye now.